Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Ascending Thoughts. Hope you all are doing very well. Today we are diving into one of South Asia's most pressing geopolitical stories, Pakistan's ongoing economic crisis in 2026. Despite repeated IMF bailouts and some signs of short-term stabilization, the Pak economy remains fragile, marked by high debt, inflation pressures, political instability, and external dependencies. As of Jan 2026, Pakistan is navigating its latest IMF Extended Fund Facility EFF program, a $7 billion package approved in late 2024 with recent reviews showing compliance but warning of deeper structural issues. The question isn't why Pakistan keeps returning to the IMF, it is what this chronic weakness means for regional stability and specifically for India. Let's break it down step by step. Let's have a look at the current state of Pakistan economy. Pakistan's economy has shown some recovery signs after the near default scare of 2022-23 financial year. Under the current IMF program, inflation has moderated significantly from painful highs to below 5% in recent months. Growth is projected at around 3.2% for 2026, and foreign reserves have stabilized somewhat through rollovers and disbursement. The IMF completed its second review in late 2025, releasing another tranche around $1.2 billion recently, bringing total disbursements closer to targets. China has played a key role, rolling over billions in loans, example $3.4 billion in mid-2025 to help meet reserve requirements. But these are band-aids, not cures. Pakistan's external debt stands at over $130 billion, with total public debt around $280 to $290 billion. Debt to GDP ratio is near 70%. Debt servicing eats up a massive chunk of their meager revenues that is often exceeding federal income in past years. The country has approached the IMF nearly 25 times since the 1950s, making it one of the most frequent borrowers. Key triggers for the collapse again is chronic fiscal deficits financed by printing money or unsustainable borrowing, low tax base and reliance on external funding, energy sector efficiencies such as circular debt, subsidies, and governance failures that unravel every program, political chaos, frequent changes, military influence in economic decision, and corruption concerns. IMF now demands asset declarations from officials and anti-corruption plans. Add climate shocks, that is the devastating flood in 2022 and 2025, and ongoing monsoon threats have displaced millions, damaged agriculture, and added billions in reconstruction costs, increasing the vulnerabilities. Then there is the China debt trap. A major factor is Pakistan's over-reliance on China. Through CPEC and commercial loans, Beijing has become a lifeline, rolling over debts and providing emergency financing. But this comes with strings, of course. High interest rates on loans and strategic leverage over projects like the Gwadar port. Critics call it debt trap. Pakistan risks long-term dependency, especially as repayments loom, that is $100 billion plus in external debt due in coming years. IMF conditions, on the other hand, push for reforms, but progress is low. Tax base expansion, SOE privatization, and subsidy cuts face domestic resistance. Meanwhile, global factors like high oil price, that is if they spike, or US policy shifts under the current administration add pressure. Pakistan's economy is stabilizing on paper but without deep structural changes. Another crisis cycle is very likely. Next is the geopolitical implication and what it means for us, that is India. Does a weaker Pakistan make India safer or more dangerous? And that is the key question. Positive side for India is that economic fragility limits Pakistan's military modernization and adventurism. A cash-strapped state struggles to fund large-scale arm purchases or sustain proxy activities. Internal focus on survival could reduce cross-border provocations as resources shift to domestic firefighting. And I am being optimistic here, by the way, because Pakistan wants to ruin India even at the cost of its own ruin. So let's not forget that. India's stronger economy projected to grow faster, widens the power gap, enhancing deterrence. Now, regarding the risk and dangers, instability spillover is the biggest problem. Economic despair fuels extremism and unrest near borders. A desperate regime might lash out via proxies to rally domestic support. Then there is China's deeper role as Pakistan leans more on Beijing. CPEC militarization or strategic encirclement heightens India's two-front concerns. Then there is the nuclear wild card. As Pakistan economic collapse, it raises the fear over command and control of its nuclear assets, though safeguard exists in the form of US intervention. There is a credible rumor that Pakistan's nuclear weapons are under the control of the US military, so there is that. Then there is the regional ripple effect. Floods, climate disasters all displace populations, potentially straining India's borders with refugees or humanitarian issues. Political chaos might lead to unpredictable decisions on Kashmir or water sharing like Indus Water Treaty tensions. Overall, a chronically weak Pakistan is a mixed bag. It reduces conventional threats but increases asymmetric risk such as terrorism, instability, and great power proxy dynamics. Pakistan's economy in 2026 thus is a story of a fragile stabilization amid deep-rooted problems, most of which is self-inflicted. And then there is the IMF dependency, debt burdens, climate vulnerabilities and governance failures, corruption and military interference. Bailouts buy time but without genuine reforms, tax expansion, energy sector overhaul and political stability, the cycle continues. For India, this means vigilance. A weaker neighbor can be an opportunity for diplomacy and deterrence, but it also demands preparedness for unpredictable spillovers. South Asia's stability hinges on India being the responsible person, as we cannot expect any responsibility whatsoever from Pakistan. So what do you guys think? Will Pakistan break the bailout cycle or is another crisis inevitable? Drop your thoughts in the comments, like if this helped, and subscribe for more geopolitical deep dives. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Take care and bye.